Welcome to the Hobart Commuter on this crisp autumn morning. Well, it's official. UTAS have formally announced that they will be moving into the city, a process that's going to take around 10 to 15 years, they anticipate. Now, is this much of a surprise? Not really. It's akin to having lived with your girlfriend for probably about 10 years, during which you've bought a house and begun to raise a couple of children, and you turn to her and you say, well, it's probably about time we got married. Make this official. Now, the extent of the move wasn't particularly well known, but it is now. They're going to move the whole campus, save for, I think, the sporting ovals. So it's a big deal. Like, previously, they had two models that they were looking at. They were looking at a distributed campus, so they would maintain some of the buildings in Sandy Bay and then maintain some in the city. But ultimately that gave way to what's called the city-centric model. So they're going to move everything into the city, and they're going to have precincts within the city, so subject-specific precincts. So think a medical precinct, an arts precinct, a business and economics precinct. So what has been Hobart's reaction to the marriage proposal from UTAS? A little bit mixed. I want to focus today on the criticism though, in particular one aspect. Of course there's going to be criticism. It's a massive project with multiple implications in many different fields. But yeah, there's one aspect of criticism that I want to focus on, and I want to talk about a possible solution for those who are afflicted, myself included. So these are people who are going to be based at Sandy Bay and moving into the city. And I'm literally on my way to that solution now, so I want to take you there. And by way of framing that, I would like to talk about an article written in our local newspaper, which is the Mercury, by probably Tasmania's finest living writer, Richard Flanagan. Now, I say finest living writer with no cynicism or sarcasm. Flanagan is an awesome writer. He won the Booker Prize, I think in a couple of years ago anyway, with the Narrow Road to the Deep North, pardon me, which is a wonderful book. And in fact, his earliest book, or his first book, The Death of a River Guide, was even better. He's an amazing novelist. But relevant to this, he's also an essayist and increasingly an activist as well. And he wrote a piece for The Monthly many years ago now. I think it was in 2007. He wrote a piece about the alleged corruption and collusion between the Tasmanian state government and a Tasmanian logging company called Guns. I don't know how factually correct the article was. There was some question around that. I don't know. Brilliant piece of journalism though, a really emotive piece, and it gained a lot of traction both here in Australia and overseas in UK, I think. And the end result was this pulp mill that was going to get built, I think in the north of Tasmania, I can't remember. It didn't get built. So Flanagan's got clout and he's got a lot of influence. So he turned his attention recently in writing with the Mercury to this issue of UTAS moving into the city. And the article was scathing. He basically said the whole move was asinine. He talked about questions around whether or not the buildings at Sandy Bay could have been restored. Traffic congestion in the city, that's a big one. I'll come back to that another time. And he talked about as well, he hinted at some kind of nefarious reason that wasn't being disclosed about the true motives of UTAS's move into the city. Now, just on that, I'll just digress for a minute while we make our way up to this place I want to show you. I think this idea of a conspiracy around the real motives for UTAS, moving into the city, is off the mark. Basically, the genesis of this idea of UTAS moving to the city dates back to Darrell Agree. Now, he was the Vice-Chancellor who ended his tenure in 2010. Wow, what is this? This is a little hotel. I need a concierge to pop out and pick up my bike. I don't know what hotel that is. It's quite nice though. Little colonial 1929 building. What a beautiful little building. Now that's almost 10 years ago now. I think the idea of people, and indeed a group of people maintaining a collective conspiracy, people just aren't that smart. It's more likely that UTAS has perhaps failed to sell its vision in a proper way, let's say. And I don't think that vision is particularly secret. They make no bones about, because UTAS is in quite a popular position, or rather a unique position, of being the only university in Tasmania. That means it's got a unique opportunity to work with the state government exclusively. And that means, and all the VCs have spoken about this, actually getting more integrated into the community, more into the business, more into the intellectual, more into the cultural life of the community. And it's about a physical integration as well. And don't forget, universities around the world facing a bit of a confidence in crisis and an image problem as well. University used to be about learning and culture, purely learning and culture. Nowadays though, you've got a taxpayer-funded institution. Increasingly people are becoming aware of this, and it's producing graduates that are not ready for work. A lot of graduates too. And I think to maintain relevance, the university is increasingly moving into partnership with the university to produce ready-made graduates, give them on-the-job training. And this is what this move is about to me. And it's about inclusivity as well. Demystifying the university, not having it out at Sandy Bay at some elite institution far away. It's about making it accessible and inclusive. And if it sounds like I'm towing the company rhetoric here, it's because I am. I actually believe in what they're doing on that. I don't believe in everything that UTAS does, but I'm certainly behind this move. I think it's beneficial for the community and beneficial for students as well. Okay, so this is where I wanted to take you. This is the domain. This is the site of the original university. You can see it there and a little bit over there. I'll walk you over there now, just to show you a bit quicker in the surrounding gardens too. Now, the reason why I'm taking you here is because part of Flanagan's piece was quoting that 75% of UTAS staff had been surveyed by the National Tertiary Education Union and said that they opposed the move. But I can certainly believe that. I suspect most staff do oppose the move. And I'll give you a strong reason why. And that's the actual surroundings of the Sandy Bay campus. They are beautiful. It's essentially like working in the botanical gardens. It's that gorgeous there. And I think a lot of the staff, probably for their own personal mental health, let's say, love the surroundings, and probably for the students as well, it's a big draw card. That is going to be a big loss, and I'll certainly mourn it. I do like a lot of space when I'm at work. Like, I love to get away into the grounds, and it's going to be a big change. But is there anything comparable? Okay, well, here's the domain. I'll talk to you about the gardens in a moment. Here's the domain building. This was built in 1890. When it opened, it had one classroom, so 11 students, and three teachers. Wonderful ratio. You'd have to be pretty exceptional though to get into the class, I reckon. And I doubt they would have allowed women at that time, though I might have been wrong. So this is the University Rose Garden. Look at this. Just magnificent. Do I chance these steps? I do. What a beautiful, serene spot this is. Not a bad space to relax at all. The roses are kind of dying at the moment. It's not in full bloom because we're in autumn, of course, but this is a pretty tranquil environment. Okay, so this is one space that goes some way towards balancing the ledger. Let's see if we can find one more. I think I know where to go. Okay, so this is the roundabout fountain. You can see there all these cars coming across here. It's in the middle of a roundabout. It was built in the early 1960s, I think. There's an absolutely beautiful picture of what it looks like from 1970. I'll see if I can find that and I'll insert it into the video. It's built as a monument to all the mayors that serve in Hobart, so their names are all plastered around there. You can see these terraced gardens. Even though it's in the middle of the roundabout, there's a fair amount of traffic you can see. It's actually quite, so it's actually quite quiet. You can't hear very much. Okay, so there's the fountain. Beautiful fountain. The lights glow underneath during the night time. It kind of looks like a derelict spacecraft from War of the Worlds. One of those ones that succumbed to Earth's pathogens in the end. And they turned it into a fountain, apparently. But it's really lovely, and this is another lovely space. All right, so are those spaces enough to match the beauty of Sandy Bay campus? Absolutely not even close. But I think it's a sacrifice that is worth the benefit of UTAS moving into the city towards everyone. Okay, that's that corporate video over. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, bonus round. I didn't mention St. David's Park. This is also in the city. Look at this. Suddenly the stocks have gone up. Of the green spaces in Hobart, this is perhaps one of the most beautiful. Catching it in autumn too. Beauty that is St. David's Park. Smell that air.